I got royalty inside my DNA. I got peace, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. 死んだ天性 I was born in this is wild. Immaculate conception, I just never perform like this without you. One new weapon, I know I meditated on this that.
Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra! Hey guys, and welcome to What If Naruto was Minato's reincarnation or was like Minato. Basically like an exact replica of Minato, but not necessarily an exact replica of Minato. You get it. But let's continue on. You guys liked the first part of the series. It went over my expectations, and now you guys went over my expectation with the second part to this video too. Most of you guys were saying that I should continue this series, and we'll see. It depends on how much stuff I cover in this part, if we get a part 4. Anyway, after this video, I'm gonna unleash What If Goku was in One Piece, and I'm gonna bring out part 2 to What If Naruto was Madara's reincarnation. But without any further ado, let's get back into the story of where we left off. So Naruto opened the door to see two malicious characters, Itachi and Kisame. Now, this is where Naruto would say, for a minute there, I thought you were Sasuke. Your chakra signatures is so close to each other. But anyway, what do you guys want? You are to come with us, Naruto. And Naruto would just be leaning at the door. And this is what Kisame would comment. This brat is like cocky. You don't sense the danger that you're in, child. This is where Naruto would say, you don't sense the danger that you're in. I'm not going anywhere with you guys if you don't tell me what or where I'm going. And this is where Naruto just looks at Itachi and Kisame. And Kisame would then just put his sword by his leg, like taking his sword off his back and just like standing it up next to him. This is where Naruto would already have his hand in his pocket, seeming as if things are getting very tense right now. And this is where Itachi would say, you are coming with us, Naruto. You are to come with us right now. And this is where Naruto would say, this is getting nowhere. Naruto then stomps on the ground and creates a miniature explosion from his foot. Now, this is something that Naruto has came up. It's not like that. It's basically Naruto using his speed. Only Itachi was able to see it. So what Naruto did was throw down a flash bomb and jump back. And then weave hand signs and create a shadow clone jutsu. Now, this is where Naruto would fill up the hotel place with shadow clones, and they would attack Itachi and Kisame. Now, Kisame would be chopping through these shadow clones easily using his basic name Samehada. And Samehada would be absorbing some of the chakra from those clones too. And this is where Kisame would comment saying Samehada hasn't had a good meal in a while. Now, Naruto would be back on the back foot about this, but this is where Naruto would say, you got a weird sword. Is your sword alive? Jesus Christ, there's some weird weapons in this world. All right. Fight fire with fire. Naruto would pull out his all his shurikens and just start launching them all over the hotel room or the hotel hallway. And this is where Naruto would get into a taijutsu bout with Itachi and Kisame. Now Naruto is keeping him basically doing the best that he can against two of these people, but Naruto is seeming as if faster than both of them. Now Naruto can make a break for it if he wants to, and then he notices that Itachi is getting ready to do something with his eyes. Well, he just noticed the chakra signature in Itachi's eyes is changing. Naruto basically keeps his eyes towards the ground, or better yet, he closes them just so that he don't get trapped in a genjutsu right now. Naruto can't be afford to be taken by people he really doesn't know. So as Naruto is teleporting all over the room, Itachi and Kisame are trying their hardest to keep up with him. Then all of a sudden, Itachi just feels a huge gut punch to his stomach, and Kisame got a kick to the face. Now this is where Naruto create a Rasengan in his hand and hit Itachi and Kisame with the Rasengan, sending them both crashing into a wall. Now Naruto is getting ready. He gets into a stance, and this is where Naruto will start to create a Rasen Shuriken in his hand. Now dub the fact that he can't create a big Rasen yes he can. I'm not even gonna lie. Naruto is something beyond a prodigy. Naruto does this without even needing to have Sage Mode. I wanted to hold that back for a little bit, but as far as I did it in the last part, yeah, we just gonna continue on with that whole gig right there. So Naruto would create the Rasen Shuriken in his hand, and this is where he would hear a voice behind him saying, "Stop it, Naruto! This is my battle! Get out of my way! I've been waiting for this for so long." Naruto would look back to see Sasuke standing right behind him. And this is where Naruto would say, "Sasuke, wait, what are you doing here?" Sasuke would say, that bastard right there, he's my brother. He's the one who killed my clan, killed everyone I cared about. Naruto would see this like overwhelming hatred glow around Sasuke. Now Naruto would be trying to stop Sasuke, but Sasuke would rush right past him and charge right at Itachi. Now Itachi would be scathed from the attack that he just received from Naruto, being hit with a Rasengan. Now his eyes would have opened and he would have seen Sasuke and put Sasuke directly in a Tsukuyomi. Now remember when I told you that Itachi's eyes were changing? He was morphing his eyes into a Mangekyo Sharingan to basically subdue Naruto. Jesus Christ, the names. Now, once he put Sasuke in a Tsukuyomi, he would basically proceed to torture Sasuke and tell him that he's weak, you got in the way, you're not even my target, yet you're still not strong enough to beat me. Now, this would send Sasuke into a spiraling scream, and Naruto would be right in front of Itachi and punch Itachi directly in the throat, kick Itachi directly in the side. Now, Itachi and Naruto would be in a taijutsu bout with each other, and this would give Naruto another time for Jiraiya to come too. Now, Kisame would swing Samehada at Naruto, to which Naruto would teleport away from the both of them. Now, Naruto would say, "This battle is getting very dangerous. I have to do something about this fast, but I don't want to do too much destruction to the building." This is where Jiraiya would appear, and Itachi and the Kisame Itachi tells Kisame that they need to escape right now. This has got way out of hand, and the both of them make their escape. Now, this is where Jiraiya would give Sasuke over to Guy Sensei, and Naruto would be looking at Sasuke, and he would just sense the overwhelming hatred in Sasuke, and he wants to do something about that. Like, seriously wants to do something about that, because he feels that Sasuke is about to go off the dark edge, and he could possibly not return from that dark place. Now, Jiraiya and Naruto continue their journey to go get Lady Tsunade. Now, they arrive at the bar, and once they bid at the bar, this is where Tsunade would say, "Jiraiya, long time no see. It's been a minute since I've seen you." And Jiraiya would say, "Well, you're not as an easy person to find, and it wasn't as if I was looking for you. It was only as if something now just came up, an urgent matter, something that you need to attend to." And she would say, look at Jiraiya with a very ominous look, like a very weird look, and say, "What do I need to attend to, Jiraiya? You are selected to become the 5th Hokage of the Leaf Village." Tsunade would burst off in laughter, saying that, "As if I would never become the Hokage of that godforsaken village. As much as it took from me, you seriously think that I would become the Hokage? The Hokage are nothing but fools, subjugated by protecting life that they can't handle. All about protecting their fellow comrades, protecting the people of the Leaf Village. They can't even hold up that justice." Now, this was pissed Naruto off, as seeming as if every Hokage that fought for the village, they did their best to protect the village and the citizens that lived in those borders. Naruto would tell her that she has no right. "What right do you have? You basically abandoned the Leaf Village. You went off on your own. To speak ill about them is to speak ill on your name too. I mean, coming from you, that is even more surprising, Suna." And Tsunade would look at Naruto and say, "How do you know that name?" This is where Naruto would say, "I've done my studying. Coming from you saying all that, spouting all that hatred towards the Hokage. Wasn't your grandfather the first Hokage of the village? Isn't he the one that founded the village?" And this is where Tsunade would say, you got a brain on you, don't you, brat?" And they would make their way to a table to where they would start talking. Tsunade would keep declining the offer, and this is where Naruto would say, "I'm gonna wager a bet. Seeming as if you're a woman who gambles a lot, I want to fight you. And if I win, you are to become the 5th Hokage of the Leaf Village." And she would say, "Those are good odds, but if I win," and then Naruto would say, "Pick it, whatever you want." She would say, "Oh, okay. You would have to abandon the Leaf Village and continue and work for me for the rest of your life." And Naruto would say, isn't that a bit harsh? And she would say, isn't it a bit harsh to get me to become the Hokage for the rest of my life? It isn't necessarily the rest of your life. I mean, until you choose someone else to take your spot. Naruto would say, it's either deal or no deal. And this is where Naruto would say, deal. Now Naruto would close his eyes and appear in his mindscape, and he would say, hey, Kurama. And the both of them would get into talking with each other, and then Naruto would appear back in the real world. He needs some of the Nine Tails power to basically get him to this, just a little bit, but just something to perform his ultimate jutsu. And this is where it's going to get fun for you Ultimate Ninja Storm fans out there. So they would make their way out to the whole, same spot that they were in. And Naruto would basically get 2 wooden kunai out of his pouch. Now Naruto says that he keeps these so he doesn't harm people once he is about to do a jutsu, or he's just trying to show off, or just create entertainment or something like that. And she would say, so you just carry 2 wooden kunai around? And Naruto would say, you're going to see why. Now Naruto would get in a serious stance, and he would fling kunai all around the area, basically all around where Lady Tsunade and Naruto stood. Now Naruto would look at Lady Tsunade and he would tell her to get serious, and she would be smiling at him and say, if you can land 1 punch, you know what? Let's raise the stakes. If you can land 1 punch on me, Naruto, I will become the 5th Hokage. This is where Naruto would say, are you serious? Just 1 punch. Naruto would tell her that she would say, I am positive. Or Naruto would tell her then say, if I hit you with 1 punch, do you realize that it's game over? And she would say, you're not even going to be able to. Naruto would be right in front of her and punch Lady Tsunade directly in the stomach. Not even hard, just as a casual punch. And she would be shocked at this boy's speed. And this wasn't Naruto teleporting or nothing. This was just using his raw speed. That was it. And Naruto would say, game over. Do you really want to go with those odds, or do you want to go with the first odds to see which one of us can win a battle against each other? And Lady Tsunade would say, let's go with the first odds. And Naruto would jump away. Jesus Christ, this kid is fast. I didn't even expect that. I gotta keep my guard up and watch out for that part. Now, this is where Naruto would say, hey, Lady Tsunade. Well, Granny Tsunade. She would say, what is it? You've already lost this battle. Naruto would appear with this orange, yellow chakra just start to radiate around Naruto, and he would just burst away in speed and appearing all over Lady Tsunade, hitting her with multiple strikes. Now, she would throw out a punch to which would almost catch Naruto, but Naruto would dodge it just like he dodged Raikage's punch, and then he would be hitting Lady Tsunade all over. And it's similar to that jutsu in Ultimate Ninja Storm, just not to that caliber. He didn't hit her with a Rasengan and a big ass explosion happened. He was basically just teleporting and hitting her with taijutsu attacks such as his wooden kunai and fists, knees, and all that kind of stuff. And Lady Tsunade was on the ground, pinned with a kunai to her neck that was a real one. And Naruto would say, you lost. She would admit defeat, but be surprised at how did he get this strong? And Naruto would compliment her and say that she's not too bad herself. That attack that she threw at him when they were in the midst of their scuffle, Naruto had to use every last ounce of his chakra to dodge that punch, because if he would have got hit with that, he would have been out cold. You have some strength on you, don't you? And she would tell Naruto that you haven't seen anything yet. But Lady Tsunade and Naruto would basically be conversing with each other more and talking with each other more. But anyway, enough of that. They would journey their way to the Leaf Village, and Lady Tsunade would become the 5th Hokage. And that would be the end of that story arc right there. Now, Naruto and Sasuke were Sasuke was up in his bed, and Sakura was giving him apples like she did in canon. This is where Naruto would come in, and Sasuke would look at Naruto with this very evil look, like he wants to basically pound Naruto into the ground, into a bloody mess. And Naruto could feel this from him, and Naruto basically says to Sasuke, what are you looking like that for? What are you looking at me like that for? Is something wrong with you or something? And this is where Sasuke would stand up and say, Naruto, fight me now. And this is where Naruto would say, relax, you're injured, you're hurt. This is where Sakura would say, yeah, just eat your apples. And he would slap the apples out of Sakura's hand, and he would look at Naruto and say, fight me now. And this is where Naruto would look at Sasuke and say, you know, that's rude to slap food out of someone's hand who's trying to care for you. And Sakura could feel the tension between Naruto and Sasuke. And this is where Sasuke would lead Naruto to the roof. The both of them would make their way to the roof, and Naruto and Sasuke would be looking at each other, eyeing each other. And the intensity is heavy right now. Even Sakura could feel it. Now Naruto would tell Sasuke to put on his headband, and he would tell Sasuke that it was a matter of them being equals. Sasuke would comment at Naruto saying, "You really think we're equals?" And Naruto would say, "No, I don't think we're equals. Perhaps I do think I'm stronger than you, and this battle is pointless, but it's a symbol of respect between comrades." This is where Sasuke would clench his fist and say, "You cocky bastard. You really think we're comrades?" Sasuke would flare his Sharingan at Naruto, and Naruto would get into a serious stance, and the both of them would get into a taijutsu bout with each other, throwing each and every one of them, throwing punches, counterattacks. They were just getting into a martial arts battle contest with each other. Now, Sakura would be seeing them exchange punches and be exchanging techniques till Sasuke jumped up in the air and like did a fire style fireball jutsu, to which Naruto basically used a water style jutsu to basically combat with that to put out the flames. Otherwise, everything on the roof was going to be burnt to a crisp. Well, basically the sheets and everything. This is where Naruto did a shadow clone jutsu, and him and Sasuke, that whole thing would play out just like it did in canon. Now, this is where Sasuke and Naruto would still be getting into their fist fight with each other, and Sasuke would land a punch to Naruto's gut, but Naruto would land a strong uppercut to Sasuke's jaw, and then a strong right hook to Sasuke's face. Well, basically a strong uppercut and then a right hook, and then a left right hook, and then a straight punch to Sasuke's face. Now Sasuke would go flying back and hit the railing, and this is where Sasuke would unleash his curse mark, and then the tides of the battle would start to be in equals. Now Sasuke would be blitzing around Naruto, and Naruto would be seeing this too. Now Naruto is fast and he can keep up with Sasuke, but now it's like on the turns, like whatever that black marking is also increasing Sasuke's speed and strength, but not onto the level of Naruto. Now Naruto is easily basically seeing what Sasuke is doing and combating with him, counterattacking him easily. And also every counterattack that Naruto does, he lands a hit on Sasuke, and it gives Sasuke a bloody nose. And this is where Naruto would say, "Sasuke, stop this. You're done. This battle is over. I won." Sasuke would get angrier by this, and you can feel the intensity of his anger, and he would say, "Shut up, you really think you're stronger than me? You're looking down on me, Naruto." And he jumps up in the air, and this is where Sasuke basically does his whole Shindori thing, and he uses the momentum from jumping up to the air to launch himself at Naruto like a missile. This is where Naruto creates a shadow clone, because he sees Sakura is running up at them. Now Naruto creates the shadow clone, and he holds Sakura back, and he tells her to not get involved in this. "Are you trying to get yourself killed?" And Naruto looks at her with a very worrying but also angered look. Sakura would stay back, and this is where Naruto would catch Sasuke by the arm and throw him into the water tower. And basically the water tower would explode with water, and Sasuke would just pull his arm out and look back at Naruto. And Naruto would say, "What are you trying to do? This battle is going too far, Sasuke. I am not your enemy here. I am not your opponent or one person that's trying to hurt you. I am your friend." This is where Kakashi would appear and say, "You two, that's enough. What is going on here?" Naruto would just be looking at Kakashi Sensei, but then he would just look down. And Sasuke would jump over the railing just like he did, not even saying a word. This is where Naruto would just sit down and he would say, "What's going on with Sasuke, Kakashi Sensei? I sense this overwhelming hatred in him, like something's going on, like something's wrong. I don't know what it is, but it's just like something's bothering him, and it's slowly pulling him into darkness." This is what Kakashi would say, "I will have a talk with Sasuke." Now, the whole thing would play out with Kakashi having a talk with Sasuke and everything, and to the point to where Sasuke gets, attacked by the Sound Four. Then he ends up getting taken. Not taken, but he ends up going with them. Now, Sakura would have her thing, get knocked out, and then be pleading to them to bring Sasuke back. Well, basically pleading to Naruto to bring Sasuke back. Now, Naruto would promise her. Now, Naruto would say, "I promise I will try my hardest to bring Sasuke back to the village. I will do everything in my power to bring him back to the village. Should I fail, I just want you to know that I've tried everything I could to pull him out of the darkness. I won't give up on Sasuke. But let's go, you guys. Naruto wouldn't even say anything. He wouldn't even try to finish that sentence. He didn't want to say any more to give Sakura doubt. He just looked back and smiled at her and gave her a thumbs up. That lets Sakura know that she's trying her best. Now, the team is the same with the same people. Now, the fights would primarily go the same way as they did in canon, but just not to a level of struggle that they did. It wouldn't be that much struggle. Naruto would help, what's named, Choji out with Jirobo, basically breaking the whole rock formation out, basically finding the weak point, and Choji would fight Jirobo. Neji would fight the Spider Dude. Kiba would fight the twin brothers, and what's named, so on and so forth. Everybody had their respective battle. Now we're just going to fast forward until Naruto gets to fight Kimimaru. This is where Naruto is looking at Kimimaru, and he said, and the both of them get into a battle with each other, like a high intensity battle with each other. And Naruto learns that this guy has a bone Kekkei Genkai. He can use bones, and from what Kimimaru has explained to Naruto, is that Kimimaru's bones is as strong as steel. Now Naruto basically creates shadow clones around Kimimaru, and using his knowledge to basically combat with Kimimaru until Kimimaru started using bones, started using his sword and everything, and basically started cutting up the shadow clones. To the which Naruto uses some of Kurama's chakra, and this is where Naruto flings kunai all over the area. Then he uses his shadow clone jutsu, and then they all create Rasengans in their hand. Now this is where Naruto charges at Kimimaru. Kimimaru is dodging each and every one of those shadow clones, but Naruto is basically a step ahead of Kimimaru. One of the clones basically managed to touch Kimimaru on the back, and this is where Naruto would basically kick him away. Kimimaru would use his whole rib cage to basically block whatever's coming at him, because he's seen Naruto coming in with a giant Rasengan in his hand. But Kimimaru basically used his rib cage to block the attack, the incoming attack that was coming at him. So as he was getting ready to do this, he didn't think that Naruto was going to teleport behind him and hit him in the back with a Rasengan. Now Kimimaru would have been spiraling towards another Naruto with another Rasengan in his hand, and it would just be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until Kimimaru had enough of this and used his Curse March Stage 1. And this is where Naruto would just be on the back foot from this, and he would say, "So, you have that whole black marking thing too. Oh, if that's the case. Kurama, I think it's time for us to go full throttle on this one." Now, Kurama would be talking to Naruto and say full throttle, so you mean like Three Tails. You sure you can handle that level of power? Because it can go to your head and you might lose yourself. Naruto would say, "I'm sure. Plus, it's not going to be for that long. It's just enough to get this guy dealt with." Before Naruto could do his whole Three Tails transformation, this is where Rock Lee would come in and tell Naruto that he's got it, that he needs to go after Sasuke. And Naruto would say, "Are you sure about this? Do you not know what this guy can do?" And Naruto would say, "Rock Lee, are you sure about this? This guy has some strange abilities and everything, and I could help out to make the fight faster." And Rock Lee would just give a thumbs up to Naruto and tell him, "I got this. Just go on ahead." And this is where Naruto would jump over Kimimaru, and Kimimaru was getting ready to shoot a bone at Naruto, to which Rock Lee would come in and kick Kimimaru directly in the jaw. Now Kimimaru would look at Rock Lee, and now his attention's on him. Now Rock Lee would say that, "Now I am your opponent." And that fight would go the same way what it did, with Gaara coming in to basically aid Rock Lee, Tamari coming in to aid Shikamaru, and Kankuro coming to aid Kiba in their respective battles. And everything will play out as normal with that, until the point that Naruto ran into Sasuke and caught up to Sasuke. Now, Naruto catching up to Sasuke, he would look and scream out his name saying, "Sasuke, what is going on? Why are you trying to leave the village? Why are you trying to walk towards the darkness?" Now, Sasuke would turn around and look at Naruto, and Naruto would be shocked to see how Sasuke's looked. He would look the same way, with the curse mark covering his eye and turning his eye black and his pupil yellow. And Sasuke will look at Naruto and say, "What's that first face for, you loser? Oh, are you mad? I've gotten stronger. I even feel stronger. Orochimaru could give me some real good power, Naruto. You know that, don't you?" Can say it the Sasuke way, Naruto. I'm having fun right now. Anyway, let's go back. I'm getting off on a tangent, but now Naruto and Sasuke would be looking at each other, and Sasuke would say, "I'm done playing ninja with you people in the leaf. If I continued to stay there, I wouldn't have gotten stronger. I wouldn't have gotten as much power as I needed to. Orochimaru has granted me with power, and I can see that he's offering me power, and I need it in order to defeat the person I so-called my brother." Now this is where Naruto would be looking at a type like Sasuke, and he would be clenching his fist, and Sasuke would continue to walk away and say, "Leave me alone, Naruto." Now Naruto would jump like just like he did from over there and go land right on Sasuke and punch him repeatedly. Now Sasuke would feel this and he would just get back up and he would tell he would grab Naruto around the neck and start to clench tightly. And Sasuke's eyes would be in the three Tomoe Sharingan because Sasuke felt so much hatred in this moment right now. And he would tell Naruto, "You know something? You know something? We didn't get to finish the battle. Right now, I can even achieve more power and get even more stronger because of the bond that's between us." Now, Naruto is trying to get out of Sasuke's grip as he feels the strength, as he feels Sasuke crushing his neck. And this is where Naruto would punch Sasuke directly in the face and he would let him go. Now Sasuke would feel this and it wouldn't scare him that much until Sasuke sped up right in front of Naruto and kicked him directly in the stomach. And Naruto would spit out blood, going flying and crashing into the next statue. Now, this is where Naruto would be scathed, pushing off rocks off him, and Sasuke would come flying down, kicking Naruto directly in the stomach 2 times, and then grabbing Naruto by the hair, slinging him to the ground. Now, this is where Sasuke would land on Naruto's stomach with a ground-smashing knee. Now, Naruto would feel this and cough up more blood before grabbing Sasuke's leg and slinging him off of him. Now, this is where Naruto would swing kunai all around the area, fast as he could, and teleporting all around Sasuke, punching him with multiple strikes. Now, Naruto felt the blunt force from this attack, and he basically gathered his bearings as fast as he could. He doesn't want to be Sasuke's punching bag. My Hero Academia reference. But as he's speeding all around Sasuke as much as he can, he's hitting Sasuke with multiple strikes too, making sure Sasuke doesn't have an edge. And also Sasuke is seeing some of these attacks coming at him, and he's managing to hit Naruto the same way he's hitting him. And Sasuke is managing to counterattack Naruto's attacks before he makes it to him. Now Naruto even teleported, well not teleported, he managed to use some of Kurama's chakra, basically cloaking him in the first tail form, and then in the second tail form. And this is where Sasuke will use his second stage curse mark. Now, both of them would get into a taijutsu battle, creating so much destruction to the point to where both of them would do their final attacks, hitting each other with that attack. Well, not each other, just colliding and creating a massive purple sphere that would knock both of them out. Now, this is where Naruto will gather consciousness and stand up to realize that Sasuke is gone. And this is where Naruto would hold his head down low. He would hit his fist on the ground and clench it heavily, crying out that he's failed. He wasn't strong enough. And Sasuke would be somewhere in the forest, and he would just be kneeling against the tree, breathing heavily. He's far away from the whole final valley, but he's just kneeling against the tree, breathing heavily and saying, "I'm sorry, Naruto. I'm so sorry." Now, this is where Kakashi would make his way to the final valley, and he would be sad to see that Sasuke is gone, but Naruto's still there. Naruto would look up at Kakashi, and he would tell Kakashi that he's failed. Some joning that he is. And this is where Naruto would tell Kakashi that he needs to get stronger, going back to the village. Now, they would make their way back to the village, and this is where Naruto would see Temari for the first time. They would talk for a little bit, and Temari would tell that she managed to help out as best as she could. They would go on a few dates and everything, and Naruto would even tell her that he's failed. He would be crying, and Temari would hold his head up high, and she would tell him that it's not over yet. Get stronger and prove to Sasuke that you can bring him back one day. Be the reason you pull him out of the darkness. Temari would have so much insight and so much wisdom to give Naruto, and Naruto would hear her words, and they would share and hug with each other, and Naruto would say that he needed that. Now, this is where Naruto is getting ready to go on his 2-year time skip with Jiraiya, and this is where Temari would give up goodbye to Naruto as they getting ready to head out to the Sand Village. Now, Naruto would shake Gaara's hand and say that, I feel like you're going to become a Kage one day. I don't know, it's like a sinking suspicion in my stomach. And this is where Gaara would be having his eyes widening and he'd say, what? And Naruto would say, prove me wrong, or prove me right. And then Naruto and Gaara, Naruto would say goodbye to everyone in there. And everyone would be beginning their training, stuttering. Anyway, so that's where I'm going to leave this part off for you guys. Now, Naruto's going on his 2-year training time skip, and he's going to learn a lot in that 2-year training time skip, such as Sage Mode, such as the KCM, such as stuff like that. So Naruto's going to be training a lot, and I might even excel it to 2.5 years, basically 2 years and basically 5 months or something like that, just to get that extra a bit of training in. But anyway, that's where I'm going to end this part off for you guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and until then, if you guys want to know another part to this series, get this video past 50 likes. If you get it past 50 likes, I'm going to release part 4. And that is the final part to this series. I thought I was going to be like, this was the final part. But part 4 is going to be the final part. Because I can cover everything in there up until Shippuden and to the end of the war. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this series. Without any further ado, you have a good day, a good night, and plus ultra. Good night, guys.
君の虜になってしまう